What's up, geniuses? Welcome to For the Record, and I'm your host, Rob Markman. Now, today's guest is a hip-hop legend, one of the greatest producers, I would say, in the culture, right? One of the greatest producers in music, all right? Let's just be real about that, man. He's given us countless classics, and we're on the eve of him releasing what might be his most difficult project to create yet, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to hear straight from his mouth. Gang Starr is back almost 10 years after the death of his partner and the legend Guru. He's here to talk about the new album, one of the best yet, and how it all came together. DJ Premier, welcome to Genius. Welcome to For the Record.
Good to see you, brother, always.
Great seeing you, man. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Blessed, happy to still keep doing what I do and breathing life.
That's dope, man. And you know, you've always been one to elevate, to push forward, to breathe life into this thing that we love, this hip hop thing. Mm-hmm. And now we have the new Gang Starr album, the long awaited Gang Starr album, one of the best yet. The Owners was in 2003, so that was the last proper Gang Starr album, and we lost Guru, unfortunately, in 2010. Mm-hmm. It's about 10 years after Guru's passing.
Right.
In dealing kind of, you know, with the herd and the mourning process, which I'm sure you go through, and how do we get to here, and where does this album kind of begin for you? Like, just the mood to do it.
Well, for one, I definitely got credit my manager, Ian. He was a big part of really feeling my energy that I told him in some type of way, I know Guru's process of recording, and once he partnered up with his partner, business partner, I could feel that there's some recordings that exist because I know his work ethic. And I said, I just know they're there somewhere. Just got to figure out how to get to them. Mm-hmm. And it took 7 years to even just keep believing that that's the case. And then once it got to that point of where there was some communication amongst him and my manager, Ian was like, there might be a possibility we can get it. So I was like, let's figure out what it's going to cost, because I know there's going to be a price tag on it, and I was willing to pay for it. It just had to make sense, and it finally made sense.
So this started feeling right for you. The inkling, I think, the thing that artists get to really get motivated to work. Mm. So this was about 7 years ago.
Yeah, but from the day he passed, I was already feeling that way. Right. Because first thing I thought was, man, how is his son and his family going to still be able to eat off of his legacy? And we wanted to make sure that was operating from his publishing and all of that, to make sure that his family's getting it, because we know how a lot of artists pass and our families fighting over money. None of that even took place in this particular situation. It was a team effort. And again, I really credit Ian for being the facilitator of just even bridging the communication to get it to happen, because, I know what I can do once it's in effect, because musically, the fans really want it. And that's what I was wanting to do it for. I was like, man, if I could just do another one for the fans and for myself. I'm a fan of what we've done. That's the reason why every album we've done, it's been very consistent.
Was there a type of, what were the feelings, and I want to go back to the process of how you get the actual recordings, but what was the feeling that you went to? Because, it's no secret that, Gang Starr had split.
Yeah, I don't want to say split, because it was never confirmed.
Right.
Yeah, it was never confirmed. That even if you look at his interviews, way past after we hadn't done anything, he still was not saying, Gang Starr is over. We split. We're down with Premier. There's no proof of that or any video.
But it had been some years since we seen y'all.
Oh
together.
Yeah, no question.
It's fair to say.
Yeah.
So, and that was your man, as well as your partner, and you guys made history together. Mm-hmm. Was there a type of, what was the emotional connection in making this album? I'm sure it wasn't like an easy thing to just
it was extremely emotional, from crying by myself to, just looking up this guy going, or looking at this picture that I have framed in the room. The New York Times just posted our interview, and it has a picture of me holding that frame. That's the one I brought as the energy of being able to look at him, and I literally would talk to that picture a lot. Like, you see what's going on. Like, I was literally like that many a times on late nights, just constructing all the songs and stuff. So it was very emotional on so many levels, because I know what it should sound like, I know what he'd be happy with, and I know spiritually he's happy anyway because he sees what we're doing down here in the physical. He sees that we're taking care of his son. He sees that his family's straight. That there's been no stress on that end,
Right.
and he knows that what we do together is always dope. Like it's all we used to always be in the lab. We could be straight from fighting and arguing to going, ooh man, wait till they hear this joint right here. We're like, oh, they gonna love this one.
Was there a specific record that happened that maybe there was like tension
Definitely.
between y'all and then like the beat comes on and the rhymes come?
now you're mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a tense moment, and I remember when it was done, he goes, and by the way, fuck you. And
But I'm like, got the vocals, you know what I'm saying? And then later on we'll make up and we'll be at Joe's Pub.
you know, that was his spot. You know, that was the weekly spot. So Joe's Pub, he's already at the bar, and he's already got 3 ladies flanked around him. So that was a normal thing for us. You know, Joe's Pub or the Powerhouse, which was my former manager's club. You know, they called it the Building.
Okay.
But that was the spot.
Super dope. Shout out to Paul Cantor too. You mentioned the New York Times.
Yeah, what up,
article,
Paul? Yeah.
which was
really
really
did
dope.
his thing.
You know, it's funny. You talk about the picture. The other thing was that there's a dope lyric on the album from Royce the 5'9" on What's Real. Because you also had Guru's The Urn with some of his ashes. So you know, Royce just says, while the smoke in the air, feel like the voodoo's on the floor. Because we got the actual ashes of Guru on the boards.
Yeah.
He's sitting right inside in the urn in the session, looking down from heaven at Gang Starr's current progression.
Yeah.
Earning successes, his legacy gets treated like folk themes moving forward, and then his children
eat off the proceeds. Yeah, that's dope. And Royce wasn't there to do a Gang Starr record. We were there getting ready to go on the Prime 2 tour, and he was touching up vocals, and we were just figuring out how we were going to put the show together. So he was there for that. And then I said, by the way, because I wasn't telling anybody about the album. I was like, you know, Ian and I sat down and said, let's just do it. And when it's done, then we just out of nowhere announce it. So for me, I was like, you know, even though Royce is super trustworthy, but I was like, you know what? Let me tell Royce what I'm doing. I said, yo, you want to hear a couple of Gang Starr joints I'm working on? He goes, yeah. So I was like, you think you want to get on one? And after he heard Bad Name, and he heard this song called Bless the Mic, which was the first one I did just to see if I could even get back into the groove. And then I did Family and Loyalty. So once I got to those 3, I was like, yeah, it's sounding right. And then he heard What's Real and was like, yo, he said, just run the beat. He started pacing back and forth, and I go, oh, by the way, those are Guru's ashes right there. He goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. He said, why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, you know, I don't be like, hey, man, Guru's in here. But he's like, wow, man, that's ill. And, you know, I didn't know he was going to write all that, you know. And even Group Home, I didn't plan on them being, I planned on reuniting with them to do a song. But what made me spark to be on that song was because in his lyrics, he said, I'll send this whole group home like Malachi the Nutcracker. So I was like, that's what they need to be.
So
on.
Royce inspired that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one great thing that you did with this album is, you know, it features J. Cole, amazing feature. It features Royce, Talib Kweli, Q-Tip, Neo, Nitty Scott. But the Gang Starr Foundation is fully represented. So J. Rue is featured on it. It's like people who Guru absolutely worked with while he was here and would have continued working with. So Group Home, which was the group that he actually brought to you and said, yo, I think you can do something with these guys.
Yeah, well, Malachi was like my little buddy that I mentored when I moved to the Bronx, and that's how I met Panchi, that's how I met Smiley the Ghetto Child, and all of us. That's why I met Chubby Chub and Ski, and Jay-Z used to come around the Bronx then because he was with, you know, Dame Dash would be walking his dogs, and Ski and them lived right down the block from us. So that's how even Red Handed, who was Jay-Z's DJ at the time, was just a young kid down the block that all knew our Gang Starr videos from Words on Manifest and Positivity. So that's how that whole thing got put together, with knowing all of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I just kept mentoring Malachi because he was a troubled kid, getting into a lot of trouble with guns and violence. And he used to just hang with us every time we'd be together. And Guru was like, man, y'all should be a crew. You know, y'all both kind of got the same size. And Malachi's, I will fuck anybody up that fronts on me. And he's really like that.
Yeah.
And
he's the box.
Yeah, and then big time. And then Dap is the little stick-up kid that they used to run around stealing bikes, you know. So as one day Guru played me the song called So-Called Friends that they did, and I was like, yo, they sound kind of dope together. My former manager, Patrick Moxie, who started Payday, said, if you produce the album, I'll give y'all a deal. No demos needed, nothing. Just as long as you're producing it. And Guru was like, will you do it? I was like, yeah. So Guru was like, well, we should get 3 groups each.
Right.
He said, and sign them to Gang Starr Productions. I said, all right. He said, you got any groups? I was like, nah. But I said, let's start with who you want. He said, I want J. Rue Group Home, and I want Suge, since he's the co-founder and he's home from prison. And I want him to be able to do an album. Cool. Well, who you want to start with? I said, J. Rue's ready. Because I was hearing all his demos. And, they were cool, but I was like, it's something about his voice and his powerful just delivery. Let's go with him first and then trickle down. And we started with him, and Come Clean was Guru's demo that I did for his Ill Kid project, which
wow.
Ill Kid Records was his demo vinyl. He would only do demo vinyl, and that was my demo for that particular episode because Bahamadia was first.
Right.
But no, she was second, actually. But that's why it was a Group Home record, a J. Rue record, and a Big Suge record, all on the same 12-inch. Next thing you know, Come Clean took off immediately, and Patrick said, deal. Just you do the album, and that's how it all turned around to be what it is.
Super fire. And again, man, it's just so dope to hear them all represented on this album.
Yeah, that was important.
Another Militia record with Freddie Fox.
Very important, he said he's Freddie Fox only on Gang Starr records now, so he's Bumpy
Knuckles usually. Yeah, Bumpy Knuckles. Respect. Okay, so at the time, Guru was before his death working with his partner at the time, DJ Solar. And that's
he's not DJ Solar, just Solar.
Just Solar.
Yeah.
And that's where the vocals come from. When you get those vocals and those acapellas, right, and then you have to start building music around it. You had known Guru for so many years, worked on so many classics with him. I'm sure there was things about his cadence that you knew right off the bat, things about his rhyme style, the way he hits the beat, the way he sounds on the beat, that was very familiar to you. But artists evolve. Was there anything that changed in his style or anything, or was it all super familiar from you as soon as you got the
super familiar? I know the ones that where he's drinking, because I could tell the tone. I know the ones where he's very sober and very focused, and there's some that I have where it's like, the hook is dope, but the lyrics are a little shaky.
And we've had drunk songs that are dope.
A Long Way to Go is one of my favorites,
and
he was super inebriated, and that I love that song. If you listen to it now, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can tell the difference, because that was for Poetic Justice for John Singleton, God bless him, and he says it in the lyrics. He says, but they didn't accept the song.
Oh.
Yeah, they turned it down, but that's why I was like, man, it's still dope. Let's actually start the Hard to Earn album with that, because it says here's a funky introduction from Fife. God bless him as well.
But they turned that record, that wasn't on his soundtrack?
Yeah, and Guru hates rejection.
Right.
I do too. Who doesn't?
No, but it was a dope soundtrack. Like, it was I remember Pete Rock and CEO Snoop
Yeah,
had
One in a Million.
Like, there were dope records on it.
Niggas Don't Give a Fuck with Dog Pound and Snoop. I was like, wow. And he says it's a long way to go, because John Singleton showed us the movie.
Right.
So when we saw it and we seeing that they're lost, and in the mail truck, the whole journey is about being lost, and the love part, of course, with Janet. But we were like, that's why he started writing it right there, going, it's a long way to go where you don't know where you're going. We like, this is perfect. And then he says in the first verse, he said the counterfeit, he said the cellophane ones that you could see through, it's Poetic Justice, because I'm mad with the pad.
Wow. It makes sense now.
So when he turned it down, he's like, damn, should we take Poetic Justice out? I was like, nah, because it still makes sense.
Right.
So I said, being it says here's a funky introduction, this is still the perfect thing to set off the album, so we kept it.
You're very familiar with the vocals. It wasn't like much of his style, so you kind of knew.
Nah, I can always tell.
Was there anything, a through line with the raps that he was writing in this era, like thematic? Like, I listened to songs like Business or Art with Talib Kweli or Bad Name, and he kind of talks about a frustration with the business of hip hop, which he's rapped about before, previous, and just guys not kind of keeping it real or being true to the art form. Was there any theme that you noticed within his raps or?
Nah, because the thing is, I'm used to him writing to my tracks. Right. Now I had to write to his lyrics, and I've never done it backwards, because all of our albums have been systematically done with a list that he gives me, and we stick it on the wall until the album is done. We don't go in any order. We just today I'll do number 6. Yeah, and again, even though it's number 6, doesn't mean that's going to be in the sequence of the album. This is just his list. It's crazy. I just found one of his lists. That's Sarah Honda. Big up to her. She's Gang Starr family. She gave me all this old. She used to transcribe his lyrics for videos. You know, when you do videos, you have to show the lyrics. And Groove stuff is so messy.
Before Genius.
Yeah, and she literally gave me all of the stuff, and I was just like, wow, there goes our list, you know. And actually, I'll take a picture of that when I get home. But yeah, that list is how we've always done our albums, and it'll have little descriptions, like it might say, just to get a rep about getting robbed, Mass Appeal, our first single, you know what I mean, Above the Clouds, a song about your mental, hopefully with Deck, you know, like that's what it'll say, and I'll just look at which one I want to focus on today, because some songs, based off of what it's gonna be, I hear it in my head first, but some of I always like to tackle the more difficult ones first. The only ones we don't attack is the singles. And he already knows what the singles are going to be. He said Royalty with Casey and JoJo, You Know My Steez, and Militia are our singles. Cool. I'll mess with those last. Singles always last. That way they sound literally fresh out the oven.
The first song we heard from the album, Family and Loyalty, featuring J. Cole.
Yes.
Which I felt was special, man. How did you get Cole on that record, man? Like,
first it was I wanted Drake on it because we had just done Sandra's Rose for Scorpion. He was literally locked down for his tour, and it just couldn't happen, you know, in the timely manner to get it done. And at that time, I was like, yo, go. Even though we had plenty of time, because Family and Loyalty is the third record that I was working on. Bless the Mic was first, Bad Name was second, Family and Loyalty was third. So I wanted to get Kendrick. They said, shout to Top. They said he's locked in right now on his own album, so he's got his own out. Cool, no problem. And then I was like, man, I wonder if Cole would do it. So at first I sent him a song called So Many Rappers. I texted it to him. As soon as I texted it to him, I was like, why did I send him that? He's already talked about those topics. I literally said, my apology, man. I shouldn't have sent you that. I was like, you've already covered this topic. He goes, damn, what timing? Because I was going to tell you I've already covered these topics. So I don't really want to do that one. Cool. I said, I'll reach out to you later on when I get further down into it. So went back to messing with Family and Loyalty again, sent him that and texted to him and said, hey, here's another one called Family and Loyalty. Tell me what you feel about this. Wasn't even 5 minutes. He texted me and said, bro, I got the chills. This is dope. He said, how you got his voice sounding like that? And he sounds so new. I was like, yo, just from all the history, this is how we do it. He's like, I'm on it. He said,
dope.
I got you. And I said, yo, you think we can get a video and a single? He said, yeah, definitely. I'm in.
That's dope. And then, you know, then he sent the infamous tweet that this was his last feature.
Yeah. And he told me that right before the video shoot.
He did.
Because he had us move our date up. That's why it came out so early. We weren't ready to drop that yet. We wanted to drop that second. I wanted to drop Bad Name first, because that sounds like the traditional jump off of a Gang Starr record, where Family Loyalty is more laid back and calm. We don't drop records like that as our first record. And he had already agreed to let it be the second single. So when he hit me up after our whole marketing campaign and everything was straight, he literally out of nowhere called. And when I see his name, I was like, hey, man, what's up? I'm thinking, you know, I'm excited or whatever. He's like, hey, I know you're about to drop Bad Name, but I think you need to flip-flop it, because I'm about to take a step back, and I did a lot of features this year, and I'm about to just disappear. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. But he said, but I needed to be within this time frame, because when I take this time frame because I need space between all the features I've done. I just want to just not do anything. And I'm like, okay, cool, but how is that going to affect us? He said, because I'm kind of already set that this is when I just want nothing else to happen.
All right.
And then I whined a little bit, and then,
Right.
but he made great points. He said, think about it, Preem. This is not going to hurt you. I know bad name is more your energy to set it off. He said, but you have an advantage that a lot of new artists don't have. He said, you have an audience that is so dedicated and going to be so excited about Gang Starr coming back. They're gonna get with it. And he said, he said you could drop anything. They're gonna get with it because they don't even know you're dropping anything.
Right.
He said, plus, usually you need 6 to 8 weeks to work a single. He said you can drop another one in 2 weeks and go ahead and drop Bad Name. He said now you got it, and the fans are still gonna be with it. I was like, oh, you know what? All right, cool. I said, what about the video? He said, video. What happens as long as it's in within
Within that
it
time
has
frame.
to be no later than September 20th.
Right.
We said September 20th is the date. I had to call my marketing team, Dimples, and Matt. Shout to Matt and Ian, and we had to emergency switch and call our distributor like, yo, change the plans. That single's on hold. Now I didn't have a video idea yet because we already knew that was going to be the second single, so we had a couple weeks and months to think about that later. Now I'm like, damn, who do I call, man? That can. We called Jonah Hill because
Shout out to Jonah Hill.
I like the Travis Scott video he did,
Yeah.
and me and Jonah have been cool with each other, so I wanted to see how creative he could get. And I know he's a Gang Starr fan, so he was like, man, I'm doing these commercials and stuff. Damn, why'd you call me now? I'm so caught up, I can't break to focus on it. I'm like, damn, it's got to be. And there's other directors, tons of other directors want to send treatments. But I just wanted to, and not only that, we got to hurry up and get to it,
Right.
like because the 20th is coming. Cole he said I only have this window and that's it. And he said again, this is my last feature. So we're like, we got to get this done before he shuts down. I said, man, Fat Five Freddy did a great job with Just to Get a Rep.
Yeah.
Let
The
me
history that y'all
yeah.
have. It made sense to come back around and have Fat Five
Yep.
Freddy do it.
So I called him, and it was Freddie with that voice. He's like, "Yo, man, so what's the song about?" And I said, "I'm gonna text it to you right now." And he called me back, "Yo, word, yo, I like this." And he came up with the whole concept because he said, "What do I vision?" I said, "I wanted to be almost like a photo album with his son looking at all the archives of his father's work and showing. And when you turn the page in this big book, it turns into videos and old footage and stuff like that. So it kind of followed that, not fully to the way we visioned it, but when Freddie wrote the treatment and said we should reenact the will, being that all these rumors were about a will and all that, let's reenact the will to be done in a positive way. And when he wrote the treatment, I was like, well, I got to make sure his son and his family's cool with it. Showed it to them. His son was like, yo, I love
His son was
this.
in the video.
And he was 9 when he passed. So since he's 19, he's involved with a lot of the Gang Starr activity that we do. And he was like, I love this, man. He said, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, you mind being in the video? He said, nah, let's do it. Talked to Guru's sister, who he was very close to, and she was like, yo, I love it. And then Guru's son's mom, and she's like, I love it. And then we stand his nephew Justin. I wanted their okay. And then once they said cool, I said, Freddie, let's go. I said, but it's got to be right now. And we just started having to rush and work through around Cole's schedule. And Cole was like, I'm moving from New York back to North Carolina. I need you to do it on only these dates because I'm really, really busy with family. He said, so I was like, cool, got it. And we went to North Carolina and shot it.
Dope, super dope. And real quick, you had mentioned the will. I know a lot of people had questions about there was a supposed letter and some instruction that Guru wrote on his deathbed that mentioned you and
Yeah.
in the New York Times
I always
article.
say this. It didn't mention me. It said ex-DJ.
Ex-DJ,
There's
ex-partner.
4 DJs that existed. Me, Sean, shout to Sean, that's my guy. Shout to Mike D, who's the second DJ of Gang Starr. Actually, you can say 5 DJs because Suge's brother Suave D was the first DJ in Gang Starr. And then it was Mike D, then Sean and Tommy Hill, who was DJ with the Damages DJ from East New York. So, and then me, whenever I wasn't around because I was going to college and going back and forth. So, say either DJ Premier or Christopher Martin. There's no,
he didn't
there's no
mention
name.
your
It
stage
said-
name or your
yeah.
government name. He did say ex-DJ.
Yeah, just like ex-girls, man.
And just if you read the New York Times article, it reported that was found by the courts a few years ago to have been false and not
I was
have
at
been
court.
a document that Guru could have wrote because he
I was in
a
court.
coma prior to
The
his death.
doctor took the stand and said he brought up before while he was being questioned. There is no way this letter could have been written. And this is from the doctor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's the facts right there under oath.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. Like you had mentioned, I know there's a lot of questions that fans have, and if you hadn't read that New York Times,
Yeah, we never
article,
believed it anyway.
you should check it
I
out.
know how Guru writes. You know what I'm saying? Like I know how he writes. I know how he talks when he's angry. I've been around him all these years. There's nothing we don't know about Guru.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even know it. You're always full of gems that didn't know that, you know, a possibility or a vision that you had was like a Drake or Kendrick to feature on the album too, because I think it's really important. You know, I think Cole coming through for the album is really important, just being of a newer generation. And he was right. There's already a generation of guys like myself who grew up on Gang Starr who was tuning in.
Right.
I don't care who's on that album. As long as it's Guru and Premier, I'm press and play. But there's certain people who may not know Gang Starr and see a Cole and okay, Gang Starr,
That's
I heard
what
it.
Cole said too. He
Let
said,
me check this
Preemo,
out.
a lot of people that don't know y'all is gonna start going back to your old albums. You know, he wanted to just assure me why it's gonna still be beneficial to switch it. Because again, I just didn't want to come out mellow and laid back. But
Worked out.
Was that? Oh yeah. No, Cole. I remember he said, "Man, I love doing this. Like all these planning things." He said he loves doing this. So I said, "Well, let's start a planned company, man."
Was there anybody else that you ever reached out or envisioned for the album that just didn't work out?
Nas. We didn't.
I thought I was gonna get Nas because when we heard the voicemail, the skit.
Yeah,
automatically brings me back to I Chill from Hard to Earn. The skit.
I told him, I explained to him, let's reenact that.
So that was a dope callback. For, again, day one Gang Starr fans. Like when you hear Nas and you hear the voicemail, and even that little
you
beat
know, all
right,
right, chill. There's people that were like, "What made you do that?" It's like, "All right, chill." They're like, "What's that?"
It's a skit on Hard to Earn. Go definitely if you haven't checked out Hard to Earn, go check it out. So when I heard that voicemail, and it was kind of the first thing that alerted us that there was a new Gang Starr album coming, I said, "Oh, Nas is gonna be on this Gang Starr album."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where's it at? What happened with Nas?
Shout to Panchy from the NYGs. He was the one that was like, "Yo, man, you should start a rumor." And Alchemist as well. Alchemist was like, "You should start a rumor." Both of them in two different scenarios brought that up. There should be a rumor. I was like, "Yeah, I'm with that." And now it's just how do we do it? And I even shout to DJ Scratch because he was supposed to do it. Well, he did one, but reason why I want to Scratch and Nas. Scratch is the voice of the Premier. And it's from I Chill as well. So being it's from the same record, it was a symbolic thing that those two stood out. Mainly Nas because it sets off before the beat drops, and he's going yo yo, and he was and that's when Large Professor was working on I Just Want to Chill. But I used to be in sessions with Large Professor and Nas, even when I wasn't doing no beats yet for Illmatic. I was around when he did Ain't Hard to Tell. I was there when he did One Time for Your Mind. And even One Time for Your Mind was just messing around. And I was like, yo, that's dope. And it ended up being on Illmatic. So I was around him so much. Even Shane Nicholson, you know Shane Nicholson that did Rubble Kings?
Yep.
He was an intern there. When he did Rubble Kings, he was a guest on my radio show.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, yo, man, I got a story to tell you. You met me before. I'm like, when? He said, you came to pick up the final DAT of Life's a Bitch when AZ did Life's a Bitch because you were going to master the Illmatic album with Tony. Shout out to Tony Darcy, who masters all my stuff. He said you were going to take it to Tony, and when you picked it up on your way, and you met Nas's dad, and that's when his dad was, I sat there and waited for him to play the horn. And then when he was done, I took the DAT with me because that was the final song that was recorded for Illmatic. As soon as I'm walking out the door, I go, yo, Nas, don't forget, whatever you say, just make sure you say, all right, chill. Shane was an intern. He said he was just open to everybody was in the room. He's running to get coffee and do stuff like that. But he was like, what does that mean? Whatever you say, all right, chill. Then the album comes out, and then he hears it, and he's like, I was there for that. And then he blew up as a movie director, you know what I'm saying? So that's just crazy because I wouldn't have been like, hey, kid, who are you? You know what I'm saying? He's just looking at another person in the room. But that's how crazy I Chill is such a... I remember some people wrote reviews dissing it, saying this is corny and Premier wasted space. It was like, you didn't even get it.
Right.
You know?
Nah, that was hard. It was definitely felt dope hearing it. But basically what you're saying is you trolled us, man. You put out the Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know Alchemist now is on his troll shit, especially on like...
What about...
Yeah. Alchemist has a lot of fun on social media, but basically what you're
Yeah.
saying is you trolled us. You made us think we was gonna get the Nas verse.
It was
We
perfect.
didn't get the Nas verse,
And
but we got a dope album.
Yeah, it was perfect. I said, I remember me and Ian was sitting there when I'm about to post it, and we're standing next to each other. He goes, once you hit send, this is about to go, and we're both like, "You ready?" And I go, we go, like little kids, like it's about to be on, and it just bang, bang, bang. It just went super viral.
Of course, that was dope. You had mentioned Drake too earlier. Aside from Sandra's Rose, there was another beat that you sent him, Sail. That I read an interview.
That was also he sent me the 40 sent me that first.
They sent you the sample.
Yeah,
Yep.
from Manish, and I didn't even know Rick Ross was gonna be on it. They just sent it to me and said, "Can you hook this up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll hook it up." Hooked it up, sent it to them. They said, "Yo, we'll get back to you. We might put somebody on it." Then they sent me Sandra's Rose, and Drake was like, "This is the one. It's by my, by my mom. I really want you to work on this one too, but this one's more important." So I was like, "All right." Just started programming around Manish's sound, and boom. I left around 4:30 in the morning, which is a normal time for us.
Right.
As soon as I got home, I used to have to get up early for my son or whatever to go to school. But I remember getting up at like 6:30, and whenever I wake up, first thing I do is I go, "Thank you," because I woke up. It's my new thing now. So I said, "Thank you," and it said, "Doodle-doo." Grab my phone, and I see it's 40, and when I hit it, I see the little video picture, and I'm like, I know they ain't doing it.
They cut the record already.
Yeah, played it, and I'm like, woo, watching the video, and then you hear them going, "We got one." The next thing you know, I remember Ian was like, "Yo, check out Drake's IG story," and it had a picture of me from the Nas Illmatic thing that we did with Video Music Box for his press kit. And it was an old picture of me with the Columbia jacket and had a little scorpion there.
You made me want to get the Columbia jacket.
Absolutely,
you made the Columbia jackets hot, bro. When you did the Columbia jacket,
That was the move
with
back
the hat.
then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the move back then.
The Columbia jackets, and but yeah, when I saw the little scorpion, he morphed into the picture. I was like, okay, I'm definitely on the album.
And the other record we don't know, like in the vaults.
What's that?
You said there was the other record with Rick Ross.
Yeah, Ross did a verse, and then I just said, "Let me know when Drake never cut his vocal."
Right.
So yeah, so I have it in the vault. Yeah.
There's some.
But it's Drake's record. You got to talk to him.
At the very least, there's a Rick Ross premiere thing floating around, which you say at the very least, and that's funny because that sounds amazing.
But then Money
and when he said he's going to release a new record,
then Money in the Grave came out in Omerta, so. I didn't know. I was waiting myself, like, yo, when they won, when the Raptors won, he said the Raptors win, I'm going to drop a new record. So when I saw featuring Rick Ross, I'm like, oh, that might be it, because I figured maybe they touched it up, because I gave it to him with the beat already set to the way it needs to be. So I'm like, this must be it, and then I played it, and it was Money in the Grave.
I love it, man, and I know we're here to talk about Gang Starr, but I love the progression of DJ Premier as well. I love
Thank you.
You on Sandra's Rose is like my favorite, and I think a lot of people's favorite version of Drake. The very introspective storytelling, and we really learn about his life. Cole on Family and Loyalty on the Gang Starr album, like dope. I love to see Premier with this new generation.
Cole went in, man.
I also want to shout out. I just wanted to ask you about this. I want to shout out my man Yo from DJ Booth.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Amazing young journalist, man. Really coming up. I'm a fan of his, and you had to do an interview with him after
back with Prime.
This was the Prime joint, and this was after Lil Uzi Vert. It was the whole Hot 97 thing. He didn't want to rhyme over Mass Appeal. People were upset. Preem was like, "I get it." You know what I'm saying? Like I spoke to this kid. Were there actual plans to, or at least talks of having Uzi on Prime too?
Yeah, but prior to that, somebody on my Twitter was like, "Yo, man, you need to ban Uzi Vert," and they added him on Twitter, and I said, "Yo, why do you have to ban him? He doesn't have to rhyme to anything I do." Right. And I said, "It's all love." He literally replied back to me, never met him, and he was like, "Thank you, Premier, for saying that." And he said, "Can you DM me?" I was like, "All right." So I wasn't following him. I started following him, because obviously with Twitter you can't DM somebody unless you're following each other. he as soon as I guess he saw that I'm following him, he DMs me and goes, "Yo, big bro." It wasn't that I didn't want to rap over Mass Appeal. No, it wasn't that Mass Appeal is whack or whatever. He said that just wasn't the style of beat I wanted to rhyme over. He said if it had been full clip instrumental, I would have been in with it. He said, "Don't let."
He said that he just said
Yes,
full clip, so he knows.
it's still saved in my phone.
Yeah.
I'll show you after we finish this.
He goes, "Don't let them separate us like this, big bro. Don't let them do this." He said, "I'm from Philly. You think I don't know all Royce and Boom and all these records you did? And and that's what all that's in my thread. I'll show you." And he was like, we should work, we should do something. And then after that, we started just saying, let's do it. It was just a scheduling issue.
Scheduling thing. That'd have been dope, and I would love to hear Uzi and Preemo what that sounds
Yeah.
like. But I say all this, and I love this story. As to you, I think a lot of people from our generation and previous generations, there's a generation gap going
Yeah,
on.
and they hate when I say I'm down to do work with them. You ruining hip hop, Preem, and how could you say Drake is dope? And it's like, what's wrong? What don't you like about him?
Right.
Like, like what? Because he gets so many girls that you want?
Right.
Like, all right, get your own. You know what I'm saying?
Look, they said
My big ass can get girls, so if I can get them, you can get them too. Shit.
right. But it's so dope that you don't let that hinder, and I think that's why
music is music, man.
I think that's why we've been talking and dancing and celebrating to DJ Premier for 30 years, 30 plus years.
I'm
now
gonna stick to what works for me,
and we're gonna continue.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
Sure enough.
Is there another Gang Starr album in the work? How much material is this the last Gang Starr album, or
I don't know what the future holds. All I know is there's still other tracks available. I don't know. Like I said, some of them are not as good as that I would want them to be, but I still own them. And so you might hear a song somewhere pop up just out of nowhere or something of that nature. It's just not planned to say, another album or anything like that.
right? Okay. So last question, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot, man.
Okay.
You've been, all this time working to get this album, been dealing with a lot of guru acapellas and we miss them, but really concentrating on the rhymes.
Right.
What's your favorite guru verse ever? If you had to pick
Ever? Definitely from the either my steez. Just the whole way, just the way he even came in. I told him that's not every session. I'm never not there because I am very meticulous about coaching the vocal to be right. Or I might say, hey, you sound like you're losing the momentum right here. Let's fix that line. That one, I literally was going to see my family for, I don't know if it was Thanksgiving or whatever it was, but I was leaving that day. He goes, I can do it without you. And I'm like, you sure? Because we've never done it without each other. So he goes, I'll do it. And then the Eddie, Sancho, leave you a copy. And if you don't like it, we'll recut it when you get back. I was like, all right. I said, just don't forget. When he goes, I think right now we start the show, wait a bar, and then start on boom, boom, boom. But he goes, boom, who's a suspicious? And so when he goes, dun, 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 that's where he came in, and he was supposed to wait another bar. So, but when it came in, who's a suspicious character, strapped with the sounds profound, I was like, damn, this shit sounds dope. So I was like, yo, you good? I was like, you good? Leave, we ain't got to fix nothing. It's perfect.
That's all. And one of the best yet. That line, that sample, that scratch comes
on the microphone.
From,
you know that's one of the best yet. And then we used it on full clip.
Yep.
And to this very day, whenever we perform, even when Guru was alive, when we go, do you want to mess with this? Gang Starr, we cut the music and the whole crowd goes, one of the best yet. And they still do it. So that's why I was like, that's the perfect title for this album.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Well, Preem, thank you. It's always a pleasure talking. I could talk to you for 2 more hours because I know it's a vast wealth of knowledge that you have, man. But very glad to have you here. Very glad that we have a new Gang Starr album.
Me too, man.
And it's time to celebrate you and celebrate the life. And the
family's going to eat off the proceeds.
Beautiful. That's important. And thank y'all for watching. Definitely check out that new Gang Starr album, one of the best yet. Tell me your favorite tracks in the comments, your favorite rhymes, your favorite beats. I'm going to be in there with you, man. We're going to chop it up all week in the comments. Until next time, check us out. Peace.